Joining us now in studio, we have Dr. Erica. Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
February is Heart Month, and she's here to talk about our blood pressure. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but it's really important to check it.
It is. I mean, blood pressure is a silent killer, and people, about half of Americans have elevated blood pressure, and 1 in 3 of those don't even know that they have high blood pressure. But long-standing high blood pressure can lead to heart disease and heart attacks and strokes and vascular disease, blindness, kidney problems. So one thing that's interesting about the last 10, 20 years is that we have home blood pressure monitors that people can use. I think people have also noticed that when they go to the doctor, their blood pressure might be higher than when they're at home.
Nervous? I'm feeling nervous right now. Now mine's going to be higher.
We don't have to show the crowd, but
you can tell everybody.
But I do recommend everybody get a good blood pressure monitor. And, you know, they're fairly affordable. Don't buy the cheapest one out there. It's also important to take it with you to your doctor's office so that you can validate it and make sure that it is accurate. One thing you also want to make sure is that it's the right size. So measure your arm, and when you pick out which one you want it to fall into the criteria that they say, a blood pressure monitor that's too small or too large can falsely elevate your blood pressure. Oh, we're going this way, sorry.
Okay.
Then these are nice because they are designed so that you can do them yourself. It tells you where your artery is supposed to be and has a little picture there.
Okay.
And then you just bring it around snug. Now, I'm doing it over her clothing, but if you can do it on the skin, that is more accurate as well.
Okay.
And then the other things is you want to be sitting for about 5 minutes, relaxing. I'm sure that's what you've been doing this whole time.
Been doing.
Back supported, feet on the ground, and you want your arm to be somewhat elevated like this so that you're not holding it up and it's not down below you.
Okay.
And then you can just take a couple deep breaths, and we'll pretend that we've been here resting. And then you can hit the start button and then just let it do its thing. The other thing that's interesting is taking it about 3 times, separated by a couple minutes, is recommended. And you may notice at home that your first blood pressure is higher than your second 2 blood pressures, and it's not cheating to throw that blood pressure out and average the second 2.
Okay.
So what you want to do is write these down, bring them into your doctor's office when you do, and you know, when it's checking your blood pressure, there's 2 numbers. The top number is your systolic blood pressure, which is the pressure in your arteries when it's squeezing, when your heart is beating, and then the lower number is your diastolic blood pressure. So that's when your heart is relaxing, and it's the pressure left in your arteries before it makes its next pump. The recommendation is now less than 120 over 70. And you're pretty close there at 120 over 83. I don't know why you'd be elevated on the news this morning. But if you were then to sit here and do it again a couple minutes later, you might notice that those numbers come down, and that's what's important, to make sure that you are taking your own health into your own hands, preventing heart problems down the road. Heart Month, remember that, as well as all the other organ systems that are affected by high blood pressure.
And at what point does someone say they get this device and they take it, you know, they have it at home, they're checking themselves. At what point do they talk to a doctor about, like, hey, is something wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to bring it in, preventative health, bring it in, make sure you're doing it right, make sure your cuff is right. If you are noticing, it will tell you too, a lot of these, that your blood pressure is higher than the recommendation, and we've slowly come down on what that recommendation is to 120 over 70, but historically 140 over 90. If you're having consistent blood pressures above that 140 over 90 especially, you're going to want to go in and see your doctor.
Okay, Dr. Erica, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Telling everybody that I'm stressed and going on this
You're pretty
morning.
good. That's actually pretty darn good. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much.